Hello everyone. In this lecture, we'll see about the conceptual model of the UML. To see what is the purpose of UML, where can the UML be used, conceptual model of the UML, and structural things in the UML. First, we'll see about the purpose of UML. The UML language is used for visualizing, specifying, constructing, and documenting the artifacts of the software intensive system. A modeling language is a language whose vocabulary and rules focus on the conceptual and physical representation of a system. A modeling language such as UML is thus a standard language for software blueprints. First is the visualizing. The UML language is for visualizing. That is, the UML is a bunch of graphical symbols. Each symbol in UML notation is a well-defined semantics. Therefore, one developer can write a model in the UML and the another developer or tool can interpret that model. The second is the specifying. The UML language is used for specifying. Specifying means building models that are precise, unambiguous, and complete. The UML addresses the specification of all important analysis, design, and implementation decisions that must be made in developing and deploying a software intensive system. The third is the constructing. The UML is for constructing. UML models can be directly connected to a variety of programming languages. This means that it is possible to map from a model in the UML to a programming language such as Java, C++, or even to tables in a relational database or persistent store of an object-oriented database. It is possible to generate code from a UML model into programming language. The reverse is also possible. That is, you can reconstruct a model from an implementation back to the UML. The last is documenting the artifacts of software system. The UML is a language for documenting. The UML addresses the documentation of a system's architecture and all of its details. The UML also provides a language for expressing requirements and for test. It also provides a language for modeling the activities of project planning and management. Now we'll see where can the UML be used. The UML is intended to software intensive systems. It has been used effectively for such domains as enterprise information systems, banking and financial services, telecommunications, transportation, defense, medical electronics, distributed web-based services. The UML is not limited to modeling softwares. It is also used to model non-software systems such as workflow in the legal system, the structure of patient healthcare system, and the design of hardware. Now we'll see about the conceptual model of the UML. The conceptual model requires three elements. The first one is basic building blocks. Second, the rules that dictate how the building blocks may be put together. And third, some common mechanisms that apply throughout the UML. Now, the basic building blocks of the UML. The vocabulary of UML consists of three kinds of building blocks. Number one, things. Number two, relationships. And number three, diagrams. Things are the abstractions. Relationships tie these things together, and diagrams group interesting collections of the things. Things in the UML are of four types. Number one, structural things. Number two, behavioral things. Number three, grouping things. And number four, annotational things. These things are basic object-oriented building blocks of the UML. Now first we'll see about structural things. Structural things are the nouns of the UML. These are mostly static parts of a UML model and represents the elements that are either conceptual or physical. There are 7 kinds of structural things. These are class, interface, collaboration, use case, active class, component, and a node. First we'll see class. As you know, a class is a description of a set of objects that share the same attributes, operations, relationships, and semantics. In UML, graphically, a class is rendered as a rectangle, including its name, attributes, and operations. Here in this example, window is the class name, origin and size are the attributes, and open, close, move, display, these are the operations of the class window. Then number two, an interface. An interface is a collection of operations that specify a service of a class or component. An interface defines a set of operation specification, that is, their signatures, but never a set of operation implementations. Graphically, an interface is rendered as a circle together with its name. An interface rarely stands alone. It is specifically attached to the class or component that realizes the interface. And we use the circle in this example. EasePass is the name of the interface. Third one, a collaboration. A collaboration defines an interaction and a society of roles and other elements that work together to provide some cooperative behavior that is bigger than the sum of all elements. Therefore, collaborations have structural as well as behavioral dimensions. A given class might participate in several collaborations. Graphically, a collaboration is rendered as an ellipse with dashed lines including only its name. Here, chain of responsibility is the name of the collaboration. Next is the use case. A use case is a description of a set of sequence of actions that a system performs that yields an observable result of value to a particular actor. A use case is used to structure the behavioral things in a model. A use case is rendered as an ellipse with solid lines. Here, place order is the use case. An active class. An active class is a class whose objects own one or more processes or threads and therefore can initiate control activity. An active class is just like a class except that its objects represent elements whose behavior is concurrent with other elements. Graphically, an active class is rendered just like a class but with heavy lines usually including its name, attributes and operations. In this example, event manager is the active class name whereas event ID is the attribute and suspend flush are the operations. Next is a component. A component is a physical replaceable part of a system that conforms to and provides the realization of a set of interfaces. A component typically represents the physical packaging of logical elements such as classes, interfaces, and collaborations. Graphically, a component is rendered as a rectangle with tabs. As shown in the figure, orderform.java is one component. And the last structural thing is the node. A node is a physical element that exists at runtime and represents a computational resource having at least some memory and processing capability. Graphically, as shown in the figure, a node is rendered as a cube. This is about the conceptual model of the UML. That's the end of this lecture. Thank you.